Hello everyone. I greet you all in the name of God. I hope you are all having a great day ahead. And today I would like to share the story of Gideon with you. And I'm very happy and pleased to share the story of Gideon because he was one of the most important character in the Bible. He was a prophet, a judge, a military leader who was led by God to deliver Israelites from the hands of Midianites and Amalekites. My dear friends, kindly take the Bible and you can find the story of Gideon from Judges chapter 6 to chapter 8. Who was Gideon? Why he was chosen by God to deliver the Israelites? So first let's move on to the story of Gideon. God was angry with the Israelites. Why? Because the Israelites were following the idols. They were not worshipping the God wholeheartedly. So God moved away from them. When God is with us, nobody is against us. When God is not with us, nobody is there to help us. That's what happened to Israelites. So Israelites were worshipping the Baals and the idols. So they were handed over to Amalekites and Midianites. So whenever the Israelites were about to harvest their crops, the Midianites and the Amalekites will come in a huge amount of crowd, and they used to destroy their farmlands, and there were no cattle, sheep, and the Israelites were left with nothing, only their lives. So the Israelites were totally helpless. They want someone to help them. So they started asking God to help. So when the Israelites forsake God and led a life away from God, they were handed over to the Midianites. But when the Israelites called to the Lord for help, the God sent a prophet to them. The prophet explained to the Israelites why they were undergoing such a miserable life, because they have led a life away from God. They forgot the God. So the prophet told them that the God has taken the Israelites and delivered them out of Egypt and the Egyptians, and God has protected them from all the oppressors. But what the sinful Israelites did, they led a life away from God. So now they are suffering in the hands of Midianites and the Amalekites. So now finally God decided to protect the people of Israel. An angel of the Lord appeared and sat down under an oak tree in Ophrah. There the son of Joash, Gideon, was threshing the wheat in the winepress. He was hiding away from the Midianites. So the angel of the Lord spoke to him and said that the angel of the Lord spoke to Gideon that, mighty warrior, God is with you. But does Gideon was pleased with these words? No, because he had heard lot of stories from his ancestors, how God has delivered them from their enemies, how they came to the land of Canaan from Egypt. Now they were sufferings under the hands of Midianites. So Gideon was asking the angel of the Lord, pardon me, my Lord. Gideon replied, but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where all his wonders that our ancestors told us about, when they said, did not the Lord bring us out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us into the hand of Midian. The Lord turned to him and said, go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midianite hand. Am I not sending you? These are the words of the Lord to Gideon. So God was encouraging Gideon that Go with the courage. Gideon, go with the strength you have and save Israelite from the Midianites. I sending him, because if God is sending Gideon, so definitely he will have a victory over the Midianites. Let's see what happens next.
When Gideon listened to the words of the Lord, he replied to the Lord. I'll read it for you. Pardon me, my Lord, Gideon replied. But how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh and I am the least in my family. So Gideon does not believe that God is sending him, because he knows that God wants to send him, but Gideon does not believe in himself, and he is telling that my clan is the least in Manasseh and I am the least in my family. So Gideon was considered as the least in his family, but he was chosen by God. Now the Lord is replying back to him. The Lord answered, I will be with you, and you strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive. So God is telling, I am with you, and you will destroy all the Midianites. No one will be alive, even not only one. Gideon wants to confirm that it is really the Lord speaking to him. So he is asking, if it is the Lord, please stay here and accept the food which I will prepare and deliver it to you. So until I come, kindly wait, stay there where you are. So the angel of the Lord informs Gideon that I will wait here until you come back. Gideon go and prepare a young goat and some bread, and he put it in the pot and came back to the Lord, who is sitting under the oak tree. The angel of the Lord informs Gideon to keep the meat and the bread on the rock and pour out the broth. When Gideon obeyed the Lord's word and kept the meat and the bread, fire consumed the food. Suddenly the angel of the Lord disappears from there, and Gideon confirmed that he spoke to the Lord. When Gideon realized that he spoke to the Lord face to face, he was afraid. But God says, do not be afraid. You are not going to die. So Gideon built an altar to the Lord and called it the Lord is Peace. The same night the Lord spoke to Gideon and tells him that he must destroy the altar of Baal that belongs to his father and cut down the edge of bull next to it. After that, he must deliver a 7-year-old bull as a burnt offering. So Gideon did what told by the Lord, and he did it in the night time along with his 10 servants, because he is afraid that he might get caught if he did it in daylight. So he did that at the night time. But in the morning, the townspeople found out that Gideon had destroyed the Baal, that Gideon has destroyed the altar of the Baal. They came to his father and asked him to surrender Gideon to him. But Joash, the father of Gideon, did not let the townsmen to touch Gideon. And he told that if your Baal is really the God, why don't it save himself? So, by his father's honest words, Gideon was saved on the day. Since Gideon destroyed the idol of Baal, he was named Jerubbaal. So the townspeople said that let the Baal content him. Next, now all the Midianites, Amalekites and other eastern peoples joined forces and crossed over Jordan and camped in the valley of Jezreel. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet summoning the Israelites to follow him. He sent messengers throughout Manasseh, calling them to arms, and also into Asher, Zebulun and Naphtali, so that they too went up to meet them. So now since now the time of Gideon has come to defeat the Midianites, the Amalekites and the other eastern forces. So what happens? He gathered all his troops against the men of Midianites and the Amalekites. Gideon asked the Lord for a sign. So what he said to the Lord? Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand as you have promised, look, I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is a dew only on the fleece and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand as you said. So he says to the Lord that I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. Next day he wants only the wool fleece to be wet and all the ground to be dry. Whatever he asked for, that has happened, and the next day again Gideon asked that all the ground must be wet, only the wool fleece should be dry, and that also happened. So Gideon confirmed twice that he is going to deliver the Israelites from the Midianites. Now we have finished the chapter 6. Let's move on to the chapter 7. What happens? How Gideon started his plans against the Amalekites and the Midianites. Early in the morning, Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, and all his men camped at the spring of Harod. The camp of Midian was north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. The Lord said to Gideon, you have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me. My own strength has saved me. Now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. So they were all camped at Mount Gilead, but God does not want the entire Israelites people to battle along with Gideon against the Midianites. Since the Israelites might change their heart and they might boast that we are the one who has delivered, our own hands has delivered from the Midianites, not the Lord. So God tells Gideon to inform to the Israelites that whoever having a fear, please stay away from the army. You can go back to your home. After hearing this verse, 22,000 men left from the army, only 10,000 remained. But the Lord wants very less people. Among the 10,000 men, God chose only 300 men. Let's see how. But the Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. Take them down to the water, and I will thin them out for you there. If I say, this one shall go with you, he shall go. But if I say, this one shall not go with you, he shall not go. So Gideon did as per the Lord's words and took all the men to the water. Once the 10,000 men and Gideon has come near the water, the Lord spoke to him again and told that separate the men who lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps. So we all know that how a dog drinks the water. A dog used to lap the water. So like that, 300 of them drank from cupped hands, lapping like dogs. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. The Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others go home. So the Lord says to Gideon that the 300 men who lapped the water with their tongue as the dog laps were the men who has been chosen by the Lord along with Gideon to deliver Israel from the hands of the Midianites. Whoever the rest of the army, they might go back to their home. That same night, the Lord informs Gideon that he must go and defeat the Midianites. If he is afraid to go alone, he must take his servant Purah and go along with him and listen to the Midianites what they were speaking. Gideon did as per the Lord's words, and he and his servant Purah, both of them goes to the camp of Midian, and there they saw that the camp of Amalekites and Midianites, they were like locusts, like they were a huge army, a huge crowd of people. They have camped over there against the people of Israel. Gideon arrived just as a man was telling a friend his dream. I had a dream, he was saying. A round loaf of barley bread came tumbling into the Midianite camp. He struck the tent with such force that the tent overturned and collapsed. His friend responded, "This can be nothing other than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash the Israelite. God has given the Midianites and the whole camp into his hands."
When Gideon heard about the dream, he was pleased. He bowed down and worshipped the Lord. He returned to the camp of Israel and called out, "Get up, the Lord has given the Midianite camp into your hands." So now Gideon and his men was preparing for the battle. So he divided the 300 men separately. He placed trumpets and empty jars in the hands of each man with torch inside, and he also instructed them that when I and the men with me blew the trumpet, blow your trumpets also, and also say that for the Lord and for Gideon. He clearly instructs them that once you hear the noise of the trumpet from me and the men along with me, blow yours and say that for the Lord and for Gideon. After that, Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch just after they had changed the guard. They blew their trumpets and broke the jars that were in their hands. The 3 companies blew the trumpets and smashed the jars. Grasping the torches in their left hands and holding in their right hands the trumpets they were to blow, they shouted. So the men did as Gideon says. They blew their trumpets, and every one of the men broke the jars that were in their hands, and the 3 companies blew the trumpets and smashed the jars. Grasping the torches in their left hand and holding the trumpets in their right hands, they shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon! A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!" Every man shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for the Gideon!" While each man held his position around the camp, all the Midianites ran, crying out as they fled. When the 300 trumpets sounded, the Lord caused the men throughout the camp to turn on each other with their swords. So what happens when the Midianites listen to the noise of the trumpet and breaking noise of the jars, and when they see the torch lights and the shouting for the Lord and for Gideon, they were scattered. They were fleeing for life. But what did God? It means God made each Midianite man kill his own fellow men. All the Midianites were killed. All the Midianites men started battling against their own men, and everyone killed their opponents, and the entire army flees away from the camp towards Zerah as for the border of Abel Meloha near Tabath. After that, the Israelites from Naphtali, Asher and Manasseh were called out, and they pursued the army, and they pursued the Midianites. Gideon sent messengers throughout the hill country of Ephraim, saying, "Come down against the Midianites and seize the waters of the Jordan ahead of them as far as Beth Berah." So the Gideon informs the other Israelites men who have not come with him for the battle, let them come and seize the Midianites. The men of Ephraim pursued the Midianites and captured the leaders Oreb and Zeb. They killed Oreb at the rock of Oreb and Zeb at the winepress of Zeb. They pursued the Midianites and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon, who was by the Jordan. So the men of Ephraim killed the leaders of Midianites, the Oreb and Zeb. After that, the Ephraimites asked Gideon why he has not taken them to the battle against the Midianites. So Gideon replies that since they have killed the Midianite leaders Oreb and Zeb, they have done more than him. Gideon was pursuing the Midianites, but since Ephraim men have killed the leaders of the Midianites, so Gideon tells them that they have done more job than him, so they were compromised. After that, Gideon tells them that the men of Ephraim have accomplished more than him by killing Oreb and Zeb. After that, Gideon and his men were exhausted of the continuous battle, so they asked the men of Succoth that give us some food, we are exhausted. But the men of Succoth refused to give them any food, and they tell them that officials of Succoth said, do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your troops? Then Gideon replied, just for that, when the Lord has given Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars. So now Gideon was telling that after I killed the kings of Zebah and Zalmunna, once I caught Zebah and Zalmunna in my hands, I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars. Then he went to the men of Peniel and asked them to give some bread to his co-men, since they were exhausted. They too denies. So he tells them that I will break down. So Gideon tells them that when I come back in triumph, I will tear down this tower. Finally, the kings Zebah and Zalmunna were captured by Gideon.